One reception, 6 yards later, and Deontay Johnson is finally gone. Welcome into the Baltimore Ravens Rundown, everybody. I am your host, Joey Peterson. A little bit different of a look today at home. This news came out just a little bit ago. I was out and about with my wife, my in-laws, came back and made a video. This is exactly why you should subscribe to the channel, because I make a video no matter what happens, no matter where I am, no matter what I'm doing, because I know you guys want all the content on the Baltimore Ravens that you guys can get. Let's talk about it. Deontay Johnson, after about a month and a half, well, October 29th was the trade date, so almost 2 months as a Baltimore Raven. Not much to show for it. Was officially waived by the team today. It's been an up and down roller coaster, and at the time of the trade, I thought this was a guy, truthfully, that was going to be an asset to this team. I saw what he was able to do in Carolina with quarterbacks like Bryce Young, Andy Dalton throwing him the football, right? And I saw even what he was able to do in the end of his time in Pittsburgh with guys like Mason Rudolph and all the insane quarterbacks that the Pittsburgh Steelers were throwing out there at the end of his time in Pittsburgh. And so I thought, okay, you get him in an offense with Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Lamar Jackson, when he's the third, maybe even fourth or fifth guy, when you throw in Mark Andrews in there as well, when he's the third, fourth, or fifth guy that an offense or defense has to worry about, he can do some incredible things. And boy, was I wrong, okay? Not only did he not see the field, when he did see the field, he did not do much. Again, 1 catch, 6 yards, that was against Cincinnati. But you got to ask yourself the question, why didn't he see the field more? Okay? If he's this great talent, if he's this stud that's going to come in here and do a ton of things for this offense and be a wide receiver too, at the time we thought, okay, this team needs a wide receiver too. Why didn't he do that? Why couldn't he be that? Well, I think he got in here. I don't think he meshed well with this coaching staff. Personally, I don't think John Harbaugh liked him all that much. And so I don't think he played a lot because of that. John Harbaugh, although he doesn't call the plays on offense, although he's not the offensive coordinator, he has the end-all, be-all say in everything, okay? If Harbaugh doesn't like somebody, he's not going to play. And I think Deontay Johnson came in here, and I don't think him and this coaching staff got along together great. He's made some troubling stops in his career, the end of his time in Pittsburgh. You heard the reports. Multiple fights with guys like Minkah Fitzpatrick. Then his time in Carolina. The beat reporters were saying he only came to practice really when he wanted to. And yet you still took a shot. And at the time, for what you gave up for him, I thought it was great, especially if it worked out. But now we're sitting here, December 20th. Very obvious this didn't work out. Very obvious, even though you didn't give up much for him, you gave up too much for him because you got nothing from him. 1 catch, 6 yards. That's all he gave you. About what, like 16 snaps overall? Just a massive swing and a miss. But in my opinion, I think it was the right call to cut him, okay? And it was the right call to cut him because it was obvious what he was doing in this locker room and to this team. It's obvious that, like, he was not only being nothing, but he was being a detriment. If he would just came in here and just after 4 or 5 weeks, 1 catch, 6 yards, with Nelson Aguilar being out and Rashad Bateman being questionable, I would have thought it was ridiculous for you to cut a player like him. But if he's coming in here and refusing to go into football games like that game against the Eagles, where you have a man go down, Rashad Bateman leaves the game in the second half, and this coach goes up to him and has to ask him repeatedly to get in the football game, where he keeps saying no, then that's somebody you got to part ways with. I'm sorry. This team is too good. This team is too talented to be brought down by a personality type. To be brought down by somebody who it's obvious they don't want to be there. Okay? That's what losing franchises have to deal with. That's not what winning franchises have to deal with, okay? We talk a lot about culture. And is culture bred from winning, or is winning bred from culture? I think it's a perfect mixture of the two, and I don't think Deontay Johnson was doing anything positive to this team's culture. So much in the fact that even after the suspension was over, they mutually decided, his camp and this front office, you know what? It's probably just best to not have him in team activities. Probably just best, even though he's not technically suspended, to not have him around in practice, to not have him lifting weights, to not have him going to meetings. Just a paid maternity leave, a paid 1-week vacation. And honestly, if you look at it from the flip side for him, okay, not even with the Ravens, but just for his career, this could have been a massive stop for him. It could have been massive. He's going to be a free agent next year. This could have been a huge contract prover for him. He comes in Baltimore, he does well enough, hell, we might have given him a contract. But if not, he proves to other people, I'm still a wide receiver that deserves to get paid. What team is going to pay anything for this guy now after that? Okay? And I get it. I get his frustration. He got traded to a team. He moved himself away. He moved his family away. And you're not playing. I get how that is frustrating. But do we all see how this could have turned out much differently if he just wouldn't have had that attitude against the Eagles? You're frustrated how you didn't really play those first 4 weeks you're here. That's great, I get that. But when your number's called on, when your name's called on, imagine if he would have gone in that game against Philadelphia, given this team a little bit of offensive spark. Hell, even if it's just 5 catches, 55 yards, that's something. That could have shown this coaching staff something. You think you should play more? Go prove it when they ask you to play. Don't sit on the bench and pout because you're upset with your minutes before the game. Could have been a totally different ending to this story. But it wasn't. It ended pretty much after that Philadelphia game how we all expected it to. That was December 1st, 19 days ago. We're sitting here December 20th. Nobody is shocked by this news. I'm not. You're not. I guarantee it. We all saw this coming. Do I wish it would have been different? Yes. But do I think this is the right move for the circumstances you were dealt with Deontay Johnson on your football team? Yes, I do as well. I would have done the exact same thing. I would have said this team has goals. And if you don't want to help us with those goals on the football field and you want to drag us down outside of the football field, then you know what? It's time for us to just part ways. And I know that guys like Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers, they had things to say when they came back from the bye week. He's still one of the guys. He's still my guy. Guys, that's not true. They're media trained. They know what the right things to say. Deontay Johnson is not one of their guys. He came in for a month, caused problems, refused to go in a game. You think that the other guy, you think that's something that fellow players just look at and say, you know what, like he's still one of the guys. No, you think if that frustrates us, can you imagine how much it frustrates them? So, I think this is a net positive. Obviously, I wish he wouldn't have done all the things he did. I wish he maybe would have gotten a little more playing time in the front half of things when he was on this team. Because I truly think he could have been a weapon. But it's obvious that he wasn't going to be. So there's the news today. We're at home. No crazy, nice graphics, no green screen, no headset. Just me, you, and the computer. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. This is Ravens Rundown. If you enjoyed today's show, it looks a little differently, a lot different on a day-to-day basis. Make sure you hit that sub button for everything Baltimore Ravens all day long. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for Watch Party against the Pittsburgh Steelers.